Hi, welcome to While Away with Us. I'm Eric.
And I'm Wendy Verdu. We spent a year traveling Europe, and we've gotten so many questions about our trip that we thought we would do a series of videos answering those questions.
We hope you like it. If you do, please click on like, feel free to subscribe, and leave a comment below if we didn't answer your question.
Well, let's get on to the questions.
Any regrets?
Not making more relationships with people. I mean, we were there to live as locals, and we lived as locals that kept to themselves.
Yeah, I agree. In terms of regrets, Wendy, when we first went to Cyprus, it's like, why'd you pick this over Morocco? You know, for many Americans, so much more exotic.
I'd never even heard of Cyprus.
Yeah, and Cyprus was not exotic. We did it strictly for logistics, that it was going to be easier to get around smaller towns in Cyprus cost-wise than it would be Morocco because of the distances. I don't regret that, but maybe I missed out on an opportunity, but I like Cyprus. But like Wendy said, I mean, 3 months was a good long time, and those houses were fantastic. You could stay there just for those houses. But we saw pretty much everything. Fondest memory.
My fondest memories are the relationships, doing the work away in southern Spain, because those towns,
That was hard work.
if you ever go to Spain, make sure Andalusia is on your trip. Wow, they were just amazing. So, I mean, those are great memories as well, but you can't beat the people experiences you have. I mean, we went to the beach with a young girl who had never been in the ocean before.
She's from the Netherlands. They're like surrounded by ocean. She was 17 at the time. But what a sweetheart. That was so fun. Her expression was this, what Wendy and I tipped Wendy and I off. She goes, I didn't know it'd be salty. The ocean. I guess mine is in Cyprus again. As a tourist, in the States, you see a historic site and you can look at it from a distance, behind glass, behind ropes or something like that. And we're walking around these 2,000-year-old ruins, and there's a hole in the ground. And I crawl down the hole like a gopher, and I'm telling Wendy from underground, there's a whole room here. This is a historical artifact. This is a room underground that is not, there's no signage at all. And it's like, how do they let me crawl around here?
He came up with a piece of pottery.
I'm sure it was just nothing real. Do you plan to travel extended period again? If so, where? We do plan on it. What's our recent plan?
We are currently in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and our plan is to go out west and work our way back. So I think we'll go down towards Florida. This is all we have so far. Stop at Savannah along the way. I've always wanted to go. Visit the Everglades, Key West. I think it would be really cool to take that,
Go to the very tippy tip of Florida.
And then start working our way.
The Gulf Coast, up Florida.
Go up the Gulf Coast. Orleans.
So we got New Orleans, and they were slowly filling these areas in. We haven't figured out between the Keys and New Orleans yet, but we're working on that. And we know from New Orleans to Galveston. We haven't filled in anything between there. And then between Galveston to New Mexico.
We have some friends in New Mexico, and as long as we're vaccinated, they even said we could stop by. They've already gotten their first round of vaccines. And I think it's just the nonstop national parks.
The Great West.
Utah, and I've always wanted to go to Washington, Oregon.
Yeah.
And then
Pacific
hearing
Highway.
other people talk about the Pacific Highway, I think that's going to be really cool. And we don't know for how long, but right now I kind of have in my head anywhere from 3 to 6 months. It's going to be a lot more, I think, open than our last trip, or I won't say less planned, but
less comfortable.
Well, it will be probably less comfortable.
We'll be like tent and sleeping in a car.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's going to be
We have a
more
two-door
expensive
car.
for sure than our Europe trip. But 3 to 6 months, and if we want to end it sooner, boom, we can. And if we want to extend it, there's no rules saying we can't. So we're going to be flexible to, extending or shortening that trip however we want to.
Once we've seen the Great West parts of the United States, if the borders open up and things have normalized, we definitely want to resume our plans for the 15 or 18-month trip to Spain.
Yeah.
Or to Europe. Sorry, what is Spain?
Well, that's probably where we're going to start out no matter.
Although, so where?
Starting in Spain, or at least that was our plan with the cruise.
Yeah.
And then hopping to Portugal, because we really wanted to go last time and never made it over. We talked about Ireland because, again, we have to go in and out of Schengen areas. So if we do a combination of Spain and Portugal for the first 3 months, then Ireland is an idea. But also, we were talking about maybe splitting that Ireland time between Croatia. If we're talking summertime, if we split the summertime between a month and a half in Ireland and a month and a half in Croatia, I think that'd be the best of both worlds, and kind of get to see what we missed out on before. Then we talked about Turkey.
Turkey was the big one that we thought,
there are so many things I want to see there now that I've really investigated it.
We saw some photo albums of these sites in Turkey that we didn't know anything about Turkey. And when we were in Cyprus,
everybody kept telling us.
There's
Well, other travelers too, like Laura said, Sue, there were people who said, you've got to go to Turkey.
Yeah.
But in Cyprus, that brought that back up.
Yeah, so, and now we feel like we really need to go see it, but we don't want to go to the big cities. We want to go to the distant tourist areas, and everybody loves...
I want to go to both.
Okay.
He's easy.
Any advice for others who would like to try to travel for a year? You want to talk about costs? What's advice you give folks to travel to make it affordable?
I guess, if you have the ability to do it. We were fortunate. I'm retired, and Eric had a job where, it didn't matter if he gave notice. And
car wash is not missing me.
So, if you have the flexibility to take a year off, or you've already retired, you can do it.
6 months would also be a good time. You could get a lot of that done in 6 months if you can't do a year.
The Airbnb won't work for you for the low budget we were talking about unless you're willing to stay in one location for a month. So if it's like what we did, and you really want to get to familiarize yourself and see all that an area has to offer, then that's going to work out. But if you want to hop from one place to another, you're not going to, you will be good to get a $50 a night accommodation. So I would say my advice would be stay at least for a month in any location you're going to, and use Airbnb.
Now, I would add to that, if you wanted to move around, just for the sake of seeing more area, that the Workaway.
That's true.
I thought it was a great idea. We just...
Plan it better than we did. We jumped in young and foolish and just went... we applied for things.
Wow, somebody pays for our room and board. We not think about what we do for the rest of the time.
Well, we applied for things, and not everything you apply to accepts you. So if they accepted us, we took it. Yeah. And we never paid attention to, okay, they said this time, and wow, we're on this side of Spain, and now we've got to go to the other side of Spain, and what are we going to do about the 3 days in between? So, I would say, yes, Workaway is a great idea, but use it to work for you. You set the dates and times, and have your host kind of fit to those. And think about your geographical location as well when you're planning, so that you're not bouncing from one side of the country to the other, because the transportation costs, even though they're cheaper than here, they'll add up. If you don't have an income, then I'd say, you would need to save for the trip up front. and go ahead and look for those Airbnbs. I don't know how you would do it comfortably. I mean, you could do couch surfing, or
what's couch surfing?
well, it's kind of like Airbnb, and there's a website for that too, where you can sign up to. Basically, you share your house and they share theirs. So if couch surfers come through your area and they have it available, then you just stay there. And there's no cost for that. But, you know, it's a community of couch surfers, right? Something like that. We've never done it. What is the other thing?
Hostels.
Hostels, youth hostels. So that's another option. But
if you don't mind sharing a bedroom with a stranger.
Not all of them do.
No, but I'm just saying, but that's typically what you get. Yeah. That's why they're so less expensive. You don't mind sharing one communal bathroom, shower.
And for a couple, for the most part, if it is the communal, you're talking about, you know, separate dormitories or separate sleeping areas. And, you know, if you want to share a bedroom with your spouse, that's not going to necessarily work. So it's all what makes you comfortable.
But I do want to emphasize, if you're just looking at, I want to be in Spain, and whether I see Madrid or not is not important. I want to spend time in a country, being around people from that country. Then a workaway, you know, you spend a week, 2 weeks, a month with, for example, we stayed with a husband and a wife, retired couple, teachers, and they took us to Valencia as part of one weekend. And they took us to go see a musical event going on at the local town, and took us into that town. And
they shared their lives with us.
Exactly.
I mean, their children and grandchildren.
That's right, yeah, the
we
grandkids.
Had, you know, family.
Sunday dinner with the family.
It was amazing.
Yeah. What a life experience. Can't trade that for anything. Can't get that for anything.
My advice would be, if you're thinking about it and you have whether you have a travel partner or not, because we met several women, all ages, from older than us and a lot younger than us, traveling by themselves. So
a Canadian woman who was our age was staying in hostels, just the ones we were talking about, where you don't mind sharing the room and that, and sometimes
traveling alone makes it easier, so you don't have to worry about, you know, those kind of
which
things.
Scared me, because I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I personally want a partner, and he's the best travel partner. But
we met like how old was Laura? 26?
Somewhere around there.
26-year-old, traveling for like 9 months on her own. Backpack, that's it. Yeah. And we're like, wow.
So you just have to decide you want to do it and then make it happen. I mean, definitely we're not the only ones out there. There's tons of people making it work, but this is the way that it worked for us, and probably the same model we'll use again when we go back. We may not stay 3 months in one country, but we definitely will use Airbnb for a month stay. Yeah.
As much as I want to do workaway, could we do another workaway?
Yeah, I think we will, actually.
I did it. I kind of enjoyed that. One way that we're helping to afford this also is Wendy started an Etsy store. So you get really cool stuff. Because I'm really proud of this shirt Wendy made for me here. And I don't know if it's backwards on the computer there. And it says, "Broken puppets for sale. No strings attached." I just love those kind of puns.
I made that for him because he loves puns. But I also have jewelry, so we're plugging
handmade
in.
from,
where'd
you get that?
This came from Italy. This shell actually came from Italy. So.
Oh my God. We're carrying bags of shells and rocks.
See, it paid off. He always yelled at me for picking up rocks and shells.
So Wendy's Etsy store, and we'll put that in the link below, is While Away Boutique. And it has shirts, mugs, and jewelry.
So Eric mentioned that, you know, we did start the store in hope that anything that can help us fund our travel, we'll take it. It's not that we plan to get rich on it, but it was kind of like that. You know what? If we make some money from this while we're traveling, cool. So.
Well, and by the way, just as a tip, what you can do to help afford yourself to travel is that we're hoping, it hasn't happened yet, but that this is something you can do while traveling.
Yes.
Now, I don't know about making jewelry, but the kind of stuff like t-shirts and cups and that, and phone cases, computer cases.
You can very easily do that.
You can do
from
that
anywhere.
Yeah, your laptop on the train between Madrid and Barcelona.
And if you want to know more about that, I can give you some advice on that as well. We appreciate you listening to, or even being curious enough to wonder about our trip and how we did it, and hope that our answers have given you some insight and maybe helped you make some decisions. But if you have questions, please feel free to drop us a line. We'll respond, and we would definitely want to encourage you at, if you're thinking about it and we can help in any way, we certainly will.
Yeah. Well, thanks for stopping by and giving a listen. And we look forward to getting out our next video and letting you know what our adventures are.